Campaigns are dumb. Episode 1. Welcome. Hi, my name is Rob, and I work in politics. Now, in 20 years of saying that, there have been times I have been very proud to admit this, and there have been other times where I've been a little less so. One thing I have always been proud of are some of the amazing people I've had the honor of working alongside of. Well, most of them anyway, but that's for another day. This little project of mine is dedicated to them. My work on the national level began in 1995 on the Dole for President campaign. I was a young college student who loved politics and got very lucky to get in on the ground floor of what would become a revolution. After Dole, I did a lot more offline and online work, and over 15 years, it's piled up. Some great projects and some not so great projects, but all are memorable. Through all these experiences, I'm going to share with you 5 things I believe about campaigns today. This isn't everything I believe, but it's a start. Number 1, spending is out of control. Now, I'm not talking about the government or society or the Jersey Shore's tanning bed budget. I'm talking about campaigns. Now, what do you think this chart is? It's the total spending by presidential candidates over the last 5 elections. Seriously, look at what happens after 2000. That's insane. And keep in mind, this is just what the candidates' campaigns spent, not the national organizations or any special interest groups. Now, look, I realize there's a lot to any campaign, especially a national one. But this seems completely crazy, and I think you're going to find it affects some of the other things I believe about campaigns. In the end, spending is out of control. Number 2, what you see is what you get. I find this one enormously curious. Campaigns spend tons of money. They relentlessly trash their opponents, and they overpromise just about everything. And if you think I'm making some gross generalizations here, don't worry, I'm going to more than prove these points in future episodes. But for now, here's what's perplexing. Why haven't more people figured out that how a candidate runs his or her campaign is a fantastic prediction of how they will govern? You know, it's almost as if people somehow think this guy is going to magically turn into this guy once he gets elected. Why? It's still the same guy. And that's because what you see is what you get. Number 3, campaigns do dumb things. Now, let me just start off by saying that I clearly have a unique sense of humor. If you haven't figured that out by now, this one's going to prove it. So I do not think all campaigns are dumb. So why did I call this little project of mine campainsardumb.com? Well, it sounded better than campaigns sometimes do dumb things that hurt democracy and make the world a worse place.com. That's it. It just sounded better. But the fact remains, and for those of you who may have worked on one or more campaigns in your life, campaigns do dumb things. And here's just a few reasons why. Candidates. Now, just because you're great at something doesn't mean you'll be a great candidate. Some candidates are crazy micromanagers who oversee every little thing in their campaigns to a fault. Some pick their friends to do everything, and their friends may just stink at whatever it is they're supposed to do. Some are tone deaf because they either lived in a bubble far too long, or worse, can't deal with the truth. Others still are just clueless. The result of just being in the right place at the right time. When it comes to candidates, remember, what you see is what you get. Consultants. Now look, I am one of those consultants, just not this one. I have dear friends who are consultants. I am not saying all consultants are like this guy, but the fact is, far too many are. Politics and the art of running a campaign is a business. Like anything in life, there are good ones and bad ones. The bad ones usually don't know what they're doing or sell candidates on bad ideas just to make a buck. Sad, but true. The media. Now, this one is easy, but not for the reasons most people in politics like to think. Everyone wants to complain about how this network or journalist or publication wants to make this politician or my candidate look bad. I'm not saying that there aren't some out there with their own agendas, but at the end of the day, most media just amplify what happens. And mistakes, rumors, and untruths happen. The problem is that we now live in a constant feeding frenzy for stories. So the media drives mistakes and dumb decisions with a speed that has never been seen before in politics. Unfortunately, this all too often makes campaigns respond in dumb ways. And last but not least, we have the emergence of the angry mob. Now, we'll explore this one more fully in future episodes, but the fact is, people can mobilize faster than ever before. And mobs come in all forms. Now look, I'm not saying you shouldn't be angry if you are, but we have got to find a better way to channel anger and frustration into positive change. The truth is, few campaigns are smart enough to really hear you and then take your frustrations and do something productive with them. Let me put it this way. Some consultants like to say that in politics, speed kills. And that's true. It kills dumb campaigns. It also kills progress and solutions too. And that's the problem. Number 4, winning over succeeding. Now, there are some people who might disagree with me that there's a difference between these two things, but I believe there is. In the old days, before things like endless funding, new technologies, and relentless media, things were simpler. If you wanted to make a difference in government, you ran a campaign to get elected. Then, if you were lucky to get elected, you got to work on fixing the things you said you wanted to fix in the first place. Now, you might not always succeed in fixing those things, but at least you tried and you kept trying. That's progress. And then, if you decided you could keep doing better, you'd run for office again. Unfortunately, that's not how it works for many people today. It's more like campaign season all the time. The need for campaign money never stops. You can't work with your colleagues anymore because you spend all your time trashing them. And you underdeliver everything you said you would fix because you haven't really been doing any of that fixing in the first place. Too many campaigns have traded winning for succeeding. And finally, number 5, good campaigns matter. Now make no mistake, at the end of the day, the people matter most. It's how we were founded, and it still works today. But aside from voting or the issue of the day and what happens in government, nothing involves or touches people about politics more than campaigns. The campaign, whether for a candidate or an issue, is the primary thing that drives our participation in democracy. Not all candidates are great communicators. Not one of us has all the answers to every issue. But when we try to bring about change to something, anything, it starts with a campaign. More responsible spending. Being who we say we are. Making smarter choices and focusing on succeeding as well as winning is a start. If we ran campaigns more like we expect our government to function, maybe it wouldn't seem so hard. Big deal. So what? Now, I would not be surprised if a good number of the people watching this, especially those jaded by years of working or volunteering in politics, weren't thinking the same thing. My friends who are pollsters might even think I'm crazy because the conventional rules of winning campaigns has nothing to do with whether a campaign is dumb or smart. And I would agree, except for one thing. More of us than ever before just want better. We all have a difference of opinion on what can make our society better. Some of us are Democrats. Some are Republicans. And then there's the rest of us. It's no surprise that more Americans are becoming more frustrated with both parties and just want solutions. That's the real difference today, and it's why far too many campaigns today are dumb. Now, where do I fit in on this chart? That's me. You may be here, or here, or even here. But no matter where you are politically, we all live here. So here's what I can do. I'm going to share my stories. I have tons. Some of them will make you laugh. Others will piss you off. But all will be true, and they will also serve a purpose to make you realize there is still hope when it comes to politics and how we can make a difference. Next, I'm going to review what campaigns are doing. Now, who doesn't love to criticize a movie or a TV show or a book? We do it because we all have opinions, and quite frankly, it's easy. Determining what's wrong is the real first step of any solution. So we'll start there. And most importantly, I'm going to suggest real ways on how to make these things better. Free advice. Why? Because I have worked for my share of dumb campaigns, and too many times, the best ideas get thrown away. So, let's see what happens when they don't. And that's it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check us out online at campaignsaredumb.com. Until next time, don't be a dummy.